got a 99 Champion 202 DC dual console. I was trying to figure out the battery bank setup that I have in it. I was having an issue because it's a 36 volt trolling motor, and you know, when I bought the battery, they had just a 3 battery setup in there. So they had 3 deep cycle batteries, which is fine for the trolling motor, but then they didn't have a good cranking battery for the motor. So over time, the deep cells, because of that motor charging those batteries up the way it does, and you can get into some science with it. I went down the rabbit hole. Really, it needs to be like a 4 bank setup. So then what do? Lots of videos out there, thankfully. I watched a lot of videos and I did a lot of research trying to figure out how to arrange this, and I really don't know where to start, but I'm kind of ready to jump into it and really kind of get it done. The way the bay is set up, you got a big gas tank, you got an oil tank, because I got 250 Pro XS in there. And so 31 series batteries, you can't put 3 in a row, right, long to long. There's not a width to put them like stacked up, guess you say vertically. So they're horizontally. There's 3 across. But then I have a 3 bank No-Code Genius Gen 3 battery charger. It's an onboard charger. Onboard chargers, you get into the bigger banks, they're going to be bigger, larger. Talking to guys online, then I figured out, especially the Champion owners, you know, if you go down in a series, I think I measured 34 inches, 33 and a half, something. So your batteries are rated in sizes or groups. So you got a group 24, group 27, group 31, group 34s. You get into, you know, the batteries they put in the forklifts, all that stuff. I can fit 3 24s, and I haven't found a 27 I can fit 3 across. But if I have a trolling motor that's just on those 3 batteries, the 24s, 36 volts, I think if you can get it into the over 65 amp hours, or at least, you know, you're not going to get it into 100 amp hours. Here's the rabbit hole: lithium versus AGM versus lead acid. First thing I got to start with is size, and you know, weight can be an issue. Some guys say less weight with the lithium, then they don't get maybe the whole shot, but they still got the speed. Overall, if you averaged it all out, then what are you really attaining there? You know, not much except for space. I think there was some concern. I don't know if it's early on or if it's still a concern, but lithium ion LithiumLifPo4s, it's still not a lot of information whether these things are safe with water in a boat. You know, I mean, I suppose they could catch on fire. 24 or 36 volt system, you could put a switch in line, and then if your motor battery ever got low, you could turn the switch to like both batteries, and then you could jump off. And I don't know about you guys, but I think that's kind of important. So you can't mix and match lithium with AGM or lead acid. You got to have a battery big enough for a Mercury 250 Pro XS. So you got to have at least over 1,000 cold cranking amps, right, or over 100 amp hour battery, or at least a good reserve capacity. And if you run any electronics or lights or bilge pumps, that stuff, then you know you want something that's got a decent reserve capacity, maybe even above the engine. That's my case. Still would, like, even when you go down the ladder to the 200s, 225s, it's going to be the same deal. The 175s, 150s, 115s, I mean, maybe even up to a 90, it's the same deal. You're going to need a lot of cranking amps, and you're going to need a little extra power to run all that stuff. Just my thinking, my idea about it. We got lead acid. Honestly, the AGM and lead acid, as far as weight, is pretty much about the same. So you could do 3 AGMs and 1 battery for the motor. But here's the thing on that, since you are running some electronics on it, it needs to be able to be like a deep cycle, so you get a multi-purpose. It's a starting and a deep cycle battery, so you need a multi-purpose battery. That's my thinking, so that's where I've gone to. Here's another consideration: money. Lithiums are really expensive, so you can get a 36 volt lithium, just 1 battery, and replace all 3 of those batteries. I was going down the path of having a 36 volt for my trolling motor, another 12 volt lithium for my electronics and accessories, and then 1 multi-purpose AGM for my motor. Problem is, there again, you can't jump the motor off if you ran out of power out of your starting battery. And I like the idea of jumping off in case you have a problem. Or if you get it low, you just fire it up, run it. Especially like say you're out night fishing. It'd probably be really good to have those. Another consideration with lithium is for trolling motors. They just continuous power until there's no power and it just shuts off. And then you're done. Whereas batteries will just gradually go down. You won't go as fast, but you'll at least be able to still turn, So if you needed the trolling motor to get back, then you got a trolling motor that's going to get you back wherever you need to go. Between the price of lithiums and the price of AGMs is probably at least about $1,000. For 4 batteries, you're looking at about $1,000. I'm sorry, 4 AGMs is going to be a couple $1,000. You get a couple of lithiums and you're looking over $2,000, probably around $2,400, something like that. And you're gonna have to get a charger, so you might be in around $3,000. You could easily go $3,000 if you really budget it. You could really look for the deal when maybe you could get it a lot cheaper. AGM is probably a little more than half that, $1,800. Probably where I'm headed down the project we went, because I need to look at all of my wiring. And so that's going to be in the next little bit, and we'll see ya.